Hey everybody, welcome back to Play Casket with your co-hosts Parak the Goblin
and Ghost, your co-host.
And today we're going to talk about the heart of the cards and the trust we put into them in all these years. We're going to talk about, that's right, trading card games. And we're not just the physical card games, but we're also going to talk about the digital ones and kind of the pros and cons in all of them. And we're just going to go ahead and kind of start with our basic opinions overall.
So what did you play? Or what did we play?
Well, my overall opinion of them is more that they're like, I don't know, I can't stand the collecting of them anymore, even though I have a huge collector mentality. I would like to collect them and all that. I think I stopped playing them because it was giving me proxy to collect them all. And I just couldn't keep doing that. But they were always really cool. I actually really did enjoy a lot of the artwork and stuff. Like Magic had some really interesting lore in some of the stuff I did. In fact, that's one of the reasons why I liked a lot of Goblin decks back then. Even though they were very useless, they represented me.
Oh, they're ridiculous.
And I feel so represented now that they exist. And now that they exist, I feel like I am related to something, I guess.
Well, goblins now are like ridiculously powerful. So.
Yeah, no, when I was in college, I'll just start there and work my way up then. I learned Magic in college. I didn't know too much about it. I was trained in it and stuff like that. And I did like all the Goblin cards because they were annoying. They didn't do too well, but they were annoying. They were a nuisance to deal with. And then I started doing ones that one person I grew up with used to call them item breaker decks with goblins. So basically anybody who had like enchantment or like item cards and stuff like that, you had counter things that would remove those on top of my goblins being nuts. And they were fun. Again, I don't think I've ever really won except for maybe once or twice. Like they weren't really great wins. They weren't anything special. And I didn't really play them professionally. Like it was just something I played with my friends on a couple of days of the week, and we just chilled out and did that. Okay. So that was basically how I did a lot of the Magic the Gathering stuff.
Well, one of our friends, he got me into it, and well, for the most part, I started with Magic when it was with the digital version on PS3. So, but I also played Yu-Gi-Oh. I played Pokemon. Never really got into Digimon. Did you collect Digimon?
I actually did. In fact, I played a little bit of Digimon, but there wasn't that many people who were interested in it. That I actually, it turned out that I did more collecting of the Digimon because the cards were very interesting to me. Like their layout was way different than like most other cards at the time, Yu-Gi-Oh and all that. And since I never really was familiar with Yu-Gi-Oh, I didn't care for that. No. But I was familiar with the Digimon series, and I was familiar with the Digimon like little wannabe Tamagotchi thing. So I was familiar with it. So I just started, collecting those. And then those were more of like a hobby thing while I was using Pokemon cards to play professionally.
Oh, okay.
So I had decent Pokemon card decks, but for the most part, when I was collecting stuff, I was either collecting Japanese Pokemon cards for their art and some of the character designs for the Digimon. So I had a small abundance of those as well.
Okay. Yeah, I think Yu-Gi-Oh was when Yu-Gi-Oh, I think for me was around middle school, was when everybody's like, "Oh, Pokemon's for kids now. This is the cooler Pokemon." So everybody started collecting Yu-Gi-Oh. I played a shit ton of Yu-Gi-Oh back in high school and middle school. It wasn't until once I got out of high school is when I started picking up Magic the Gathering. But no, Magic is just way better than Yu-Gi-Oh. But
yeah, I think mechanically, I enjoyed Magic quite a bit because there wasn't no weakness stuff. Like you could be outplayed just by weaknesses alone on the Pokemon card game.
Yeah, if you get a match.
Yeah, I've had a match with you before, and you just completely curb stomped me because I completely forgot about typing. And I didn't like. That's one reason. I think that's one of the reasons I stopped playing Pokemon. But I liked Magic because of that. Because it was only the types that they was more about the utility that they approach.
Yeah.
Like blue was more with items and enchantments.
And then draw power. Black is more for sacrifice, lifesteal, or was it death touch? Drawing and discarding.
There's like necromancy and stuff like that, so you can pull stuff out of the graveyard and such. But you also do a lot of sacrifices with it. I think one of the sets, I think it's red. That's just like pure damage for the most part.
Yeah.
And such like that. So you mix it with how you approach it, and I think that's really cool. But nobody really has a weakness per se.
Yeah.
Like there's a utilitarian weakness, but that could happen on any of the cards. Like it's flying, so I can't reach it, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So there's stuff like that I thought Magic was far superior with.
Yeah.
But with Yu-Gi-Oh, I remember a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh as well. Like people being, it's the adult version of Pokemon. Let's all go ahead and like humor the fact that just recently we had 40-something-year-olds trying to scalp a bunch of Pokemon cards. Let's all take a moment and laugh at that. That's hilarious. But yeah, stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Like it was always they were always fun to play, but I've never really played them tournament-wise, except Pokemon. Oh, okay. I played a lot of local tournaments. I actually earned some money. I earned some like other in-theme rewards. A lot of tournaments used to be held at the Toys R Us near us. So their rewards was actually like Pokemon-related paraphernalia all the time.
Okay.
So I got a bunch of like Pokemon, not the trading card game, but they also had trading cards in general. Mm-hmm. And I ended up getting a lot of those, and those were a lot of the rewards when I was growing up doing that. So. Okay. And I was also one of those kids who had and used, stupidly, several foil cards back in the day, such as Charizard.
Yeah.
And I will say this right now. The first edition Charizards we didn't touch. We actually had them sealed and stuff. There's a tragedy with that when our local card shop decided to accuse us of stealing and took our whole box and book with all of our first editions. Mm-hmm. And basically called our parents because we weren't really supposed to be there.
Yeah.
And basically we kind of, our hands were tied. Mm-hmm. We were screwed because we'd rather not be in trouble than have our cards back.
Yeah. Oh shit.
And because I know if we got in trouble, those cards would just been burned in general.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Now I would have just wanted it to be burned in general. Like, but there's remnants in my household too, in my little corner of this mausoleum, that I still have a small little thing that has some of the foils that I have but I didn't use. Mm-hmm. But the ones I did use, they're gone. Along with a lot of other stuff, I got rid of a lot of stuff. But I had some pretty insane decks back then because I was not afraid to use the foils.
Okay.
And
nowadays I have all the cases. I got protectors, everything, all the cool shit. Now that we have like disposable income, it's really nice just to be able to.
No, disposable income's so fun. But thanks, inflation, for making that not happen less.
But now I got Gundams, so that's my new money sink. Because I used to spend so much money on cards.
Yeah, well, I did that quite a bit too, mm-hmm. until like after that moment, and that just kind of ruined it for me. Mm-hmm. But I still had a small little thing that had a lot of the Japanese cards in it. I didn't realize I had some of the promo stuff in it as well. So I still have like the Ancient Mew. I still have the gold border Meowth and stuff, mm-hmm. which are actually apparently very, very lucrative cards. But most of them were in that little book that I still have was just Japanese.
Okay.
I got them because I love the art, and so I collected a bunch of them for that reason.
But I'm trying to think. Like my other cards too. I think it's over at my parents' place. I have my Angels and MTG. I got to dig those out. Those are worth like way like they shot through the roof. So I gotta go find those.
Yeah, some of my stuff did too, and I was one of the few people who actually was able to find one of those like ultra premium collection editions and stuff recently too. So yeah, I'm one of those people, and you know what? It's not gonna get opened. It's just gonna sit on a shelf and just waste space. And it's not even gonna be like in front of everything to show off. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna hide it behind like Beanie Babies or something. I will have to find Beanie Babies to do that with, though. But no, that's where I used to play with a lot of the physical trading card games.
Okay.
But like what it used to be for me was really exciting. It was always just like casual play. But nowadays, even when I think about just doing it for kind of just fun and stuff, I don't have that many people who want to play Magic unless it's like a digital front, right? And on top of that, there's not that many people who aren't taking it in a very leisurely way anymore. It's all very serious toned. And on top of that, like the approach of some of the companies and the way they design characters are not that appealing. And I'm not talking about like sexualization. I'm just talking about the characters themselves. Like even if they're fully dressed, I like characters that are more fully dressed and like more stylish because you have more play with some of the outfits and stuff. But the characters just don't look entertaining. They don't look engaging. They just
have awful artists doing shit now.
And I think part of that has to do with the fact that they're just hiring poorer artists because they're cheaper.
Well, the thing is, like, yeah, you're right about that. You know, they even V was talking about this too. How they would just recruit kids out of college and ask them, "Do you want to work your dream job with your dream company?
Yeah,
we'll pay you,
and I think
$50,000 a year, but it's like nothing in California."
Yeah, nothing in California, and like for those companies, they know they're like cutting the minimum payment like by 35% easy, if not more.
Yeah.
And I think that's exactly what happened with the comic book industry too, because a lot of it's on the West Coast, and they're all in the same major cities, and all of them are hiring from the same colleges and with the same masters and the same this, and like all of them are. So they're all the same way. That's why you're seeing it happen to cards, video games from there, comic books. Like, why is it all? And it's not even like different versions of the same way to destroy something. It's literally the same methods, the same art styles, the same character types, the same archetypes, the same story archetypes, the same. It's all the same because they all came from the same area.
Yeah.
And I think that's the point. That's the problem that we're having. And
whatever. We got manga. Manga's gonna beat the shit out of
but manga's not a trading card game right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
We'll wait for Japan to bring out something really cool. Yu-Gi-Oh's really killing it right now too. Nobody wants to touch Magic. Like
nobody wants to. There's a few that do because there's like local tournaments, but beyond that, I don't see many people want to play Magic anymore.
People are going back to buy the old stuff anyways because it's going through the roof, and no one wants to touch any of the new stuff because
the only people I think the only people who are trying to play with who are trying to get the new stuff is the people who play the new stuff. Like if they're actually playing and engaging in the stuff that's like quote unquote legal play for cards, I think that's the only ones that are buying them. Because some of the stuff I've noticed that stuff from like way back in October still hasn't been touched on some of these shelves. And they sell slowly. Like you could tell that it still sells, but sells slowly. But for the most part, if anybody's collecting, it's the older stuff.
Yeah, even as of right now, you go to like a Walmart or a Target, and you check the store shelves. All you see is this a bunch of Magic card, sometimes Pokemon,
and baseball.
And then there's like no Yu-Gi-Oh. There's like Pokemon sometimes, but there's never Pokemon there. And then the shelf is full of Magic cards.
That's exactly it. And people are like, well, they should probably raise the prices, the value of these cards. I'm like, the only reason why these things will grow up in value is when people want them. Like, if they stay at a lower price, people keep saying, see, this is what needs to happen with Pokemon. Well, in order to have that with Pokemon, you need a lot more people not wanting Pokemon. But so many people want it. So that's where I sit. I think on a playing level, at a collecting level, the modern like non-Pokemon area of TCG just isn't there. Like I feel like they're still kind of tone deaf. I've seen them try to experiment with other ideas. They just don't land. But I think they're trying to go away from the woke a little bit more. I think part of it is just because they still have people working in it. Like they still have the employees there. I don't think they're gonna just fire them all because that would just be destructive.
Well, I remember.
But I do think they're trying to find ways to make money back and they're experimenting with new ideas that just aren't landing. But when you still already have like the history with all these terrible artists and stuff, no one's signing on with it. They would have to take a very bold approach with something, even if it's like an unglued deck or something, just something that's bold.
Well, I mean, they're already
to
doing
draw
it
attention.
now. The thing is that I think what's happening is they've encompassed as much of their general audience as they can now. They're trying to reach out even further, which is just a bunch of woke crap that nobody really
Well,
cares.
it's not necessarily like that. That's not what's left. I do think Magic has a lot more markets to go, but when we have the world that's of convenience with social media, it's easy for a company to go, well, what's trending on Twitter, and go with it, and then that's all they do, thinking that that's going to replace market research.
Yeah.
And it doesn't, because Twitter is not only less than like 3% of people who use it in a country, but it doesn't even like the top like 92% of posts come from the top 3% of people that use that stuff. So they are there all the time trying to talk about ideas and stuff like that. And you're appealing to that subsection of a subsection of a subsection that doesn't go anywhere. They just like the idea of things.
Yeah.
And I think once they start waking up to that type of thing, and I do think they are, I don't think it's not gonna change drastically immediately, because it slowly changed to this. It's gonna slowly change back.
Yeah. Well, we'll see how much money they can bleed before they realize. Oh shit!
Before how much faster they might want to step on the gas and stuff.
Yeah.
I will say I do feel like they're kind of trying to turn the ship around a little bit, but try to find a happy medium first. But we'll see. We'll see if the happy medium is actually like noble in a way. I'll probably get back into it to play, but I don't think it's really going to, because a lot of people who are very diehard feel very like, unless they're the entire focus of the market, I don't see a lot of people just adapting it back until like there's only titties with pairs of arms fighting other titties. Like, I feel like that's the extreme it will have to be. You know?
I don't know. If that's the case, yeah, I think they'd probably go to Japan and say, please, like, you'll see a bunch of woke shit in the sets, and then you'll have like one anime looking.
Yeah, they'll do one anime something or something that's like a cross promo with Shadowverse or something. Yeah,
to kind of nudge, like, look, we're cool and hip too.
Yeah.
we like pretty girls.
I feel like that's gonna be a cringy experience, right when they're starting to ship. Right when they get into that phase, it feels like a reverse version of puberty.
Yeah,
that'd be hilarious. Suddenly you start thinking of girls as cooties and stuff. Yeah, but that's what I think about the physical realm of card games. What about you?
Digital, right?
No. Like, what do you think? What do you think? Like, the overall
physical card games.
Like where do you think they are right now?
Shit, man, I don't know. Right now it's just nothing but scalping. Like, I don't even think people want to play anymore.
Oh yeah,
Not to mention Koof has been like just destroying it. Like, been destroying Friday Night Magic and all that fun stuff. And people meeting up locally.
And I think it's more on lockdowns than it is about anything disease related.
Yeah. On top of playing online is also a lot more convenient. Because, like, I used to play with my friends, and now it's like I could just turn, like, you know, it's really hard to call everybody up and ask them, hey, you guys want to play tonight? And then a lot of
people used to do that with like poker and stuff, but nobody wants to even do that now. And I think that's actually kind of a sad aspect. And I'm not saying people should not hang out and play poker. I'm saying, like, people, like, Magic is our poker. Pokemon's our poker. Yu-Gi-Oh, Digimon, whatever, like, your small group is into is basically our poker. Yeah. The thing is, online's made it so easy to just play poker with anyone that you almost basically neglect your old friends, you know, and I think that's very tragic. And I think a lot of people should start considering, hey, you know, call up Phil from, you know, down the street, see what you guys want to do, and just maybe play a game of poker.
And I got so many like fun. I bought so many stuff for Magic too. You know, with the play mats, your card sleeves, dices to keep track of counters, apps, all that stuff. Now it's like, oh man, I could just turn on my computer and just play with anybody across the globe when I feel like playing right now.
And that's another thing we're going to probably talk about: digital card games.
Yeah.
No, I didn't play too much of this Digital card games for the most part. I think the most one I've really played was Hearthstone.
Okay.
And I played a lot of it. I don't play it very much anymore. Namely for the reasons I'm gonna say. But my very first one was the Pokemon card game on the Game Boy Color.
Okay.
That was actually kind of entertaining.
Yeah.
I liked it because it was like in a way to collect it without having to recollect it again.
Mm-hmm.
But it only goes so far because cards get new decks, new themes, new everything. You know.
Which I'm surprised Pokemon hasn't done that yet. I mean, they do have the mobile app that allow you to play, but I'm surprised that Pokemon hasn't made the card game on Switch or modern consoles, because Yu-Gi-Oh does that all the time. Like you still need to update the cards every time like a new series or a new variant comes out, but for the most part, Yu-Gi-Oh just cranks them out all the time.
Yeah, and so does Hearthstone and stuff. And Hearthstone was designed that way. And one of the bonuses of having such a thing, digital readout, is that you get all of the cards and none of the space. You know, like you don't have to, mess with it.
Yeah.
So you could always just be like, okay, so these cards are automatically removed from my legal decks. I gotta get 15 more cards from this new deck, and I should have a new deck. You know, like stuff like that. Like I do believe that's exactly that's one of the easiest things to do with it. I do believe Hearthstone did it very well doing that and saying, oh, okay, these particular sets, because of the Year of the Raven, Year of this, Year of that, can't use them. And like they actually get kind of put in a different folder, so you have to go through an extra step. So that just tells you, like, if you want to make a unique deck to play with your friends or something like that, or people you know, then you can make that. Otherwise, they're not going to be used.
Yeah.
And it also gives them an excuse to regurgitate some of the mechanics on some of the older cards again in the new decks.
Power creep.
Yeah, regurgitating certain characters and stuff like that, or not necessarily characters, but the mechanics of certain characters from previously on new characters, allows them to still have those mechanics without having the power creep naturally.
Yeah.
And I think that's a big problem if they had all these things like, all right, what's more powerful than Deathwing? Jojo the Zombie. Why? You know, like just stuff like that. It's ridiculous. But I do think one of the downsides is you literally can't like piecemeal. Like I want a particular card, I have to farm enough like in-game currency of sorts, and then quote unquote make card.
Yeah.
I can't just go, hey, do you have a spare, like for instance with Pokemon, Umbreons. I'll trade you 2 Espeons and this if I can get that card, because I actually kind of need it for my deck.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, even that's the case too. I remember basically talking about if it's just full digital, why don't we just do a set where you pay $60, you get 4 copies of everything, instead of forking out $300 and hopefully you pull the one card you want, which makes it really interesting because it's no longer a TCG. Then it's more of like
just a card game,
custom deck building game. Yeah. So.
And like that's the point. And then on top of that, why spend $300 trying to pull this one rare card that's on a digital front, that if that service is no longer supported, so if theoretically, let's say Microsoft does not want Hearthstone anymore because of the buyout, they could kill it. Anybody who spent that much money, it's gone. Yeah. You don't get to keep those cards. Like for Pokemon, right? Like I have first edition like non-foil still. They're not legal. They're not useful either. But they're not legal. However, I still have them. I can collect them. I can trade them if somebody wants to collect and fill out their card Pokédex, as it were, because it has a collectible mentality to it. Yeah. But if it's like Hearthstone, you don't get a collectible mentality.
Hearthstone 2's out. All your cards are shit now.
Yeah, Hearthstone. Yeah, if they even make a sequel, like one will just die off. Like eventually, you won't be able to play with one, and all your cards will be just equally useless. Yeah. Like theoretically. Yeah. That's all that would happen, and I think that's a very major problem with the digital video games. Now, I do think that it's very entertaining, and I don't say that it's not. But I do think in the longest run, I do think card games in a digital format won't last as long.
Yeah.
Just because there's a subset culture that are out there.
Yeah.
But for me, I'm gonna go ahead and stop ranting. What about your digital experiences?
I played mostly Yu-Gi-Oh and Pokemon. Yeah, and then MTG was what I started on the PS3. I would play, like, I haven't touched Hearthstone only because, Magic has been such a huge money sink for me, so I stay the hell away from Hearthstone.
Unless you're like a huge Blizzard fan, I don't think you would really resonate with a lot of Hearthstone anyway. So.
But if they do Diablo, hell yeah, I'll pick it up. That's so cool. Yeah, I would love to see.
There was already cross promotions a couple of times with Hearthstone. I could see them adding Diablo cards to Hearthstone eventually, but I don't see them making two different card games.
Yeah, damn it. So I'll keep trying then, I guess. And then, but yeah, and there's also a Card Fighters DS.
Oh yeah, games like that. I forgot about that.
I do think we did get it on Switch, the 1.0 version. So it was like SNK versus Capcom card game. There's the DS one. Oh my god, please bring that back, SNK. Bring that back, Capcom. Like I would love the SNK versus Neo Geo card game. It's so cool. They got all the cool characters. And then there's a major bug on the DS that bricked your cartridge. So you had to like mail it in, and they'll send you a fixed one.
Wow.
Yeah.
Imagine how rare finding the bricked ones are now, just for a collector's sake too. Like that'd be weird. A game that's all about collecting cards, the game itself becomes more rare.
Yeah.
Like that's kind of interesting.
So I mean, I guess card games are really, really niche too, but
they still are.
But at the same time too, they have so many lucrative IPs. Like it would be a blast just to get all this stuff. I'm surprised Nintendo hasn't jumped on that too. To make like a Super Smash Brothers card fighting game or something.
I don't like. We've talked about that before with the cart thing a while back. I don't see that Nintendo constantly doing a smashing it up thing with every idea out there. I do think Nintendo will probably like team up with somebody who's well established to make a card game. A good example is when you were talking about Card Fighter DS is Shadowverse for the Switch. I thought it was an RPG. I didn't realize it was similar to how the Game Boy Color Pokemon game was. This is for a game called Shadowverse.
Yeah.
So Shadowverse Champions of Battle or something like that is what the Switch game is, and it's actually based off of a digital card version of the game just called Shadowverse. Yeah. Which is basically anime as fuck Hearthstone. And very similar too. Like there's certain types of decks that you can build, and it has utility traits. Like certain decks, like there's a dragon deck which is more mystical and like several. It's like the dragon deck's like kind of like the red decks in Magic. They're just straight damage, but there's other ones that have unique mechanics and stuff, and you have to build from there, which is interesting. But I've never played Shadowverse, but I could see Nintendo teaming up with somebody like Shadowverse to make a game that's more Nintendo-ish. Yeah. You know, like they'll probably team up with somebody to make something like Champions of Battle, where it's like you're playing a game within a game itself. You know, and I feel like I could see Nintendo doing something at that point with like some amiibo. If you use amiibos every day, like you're only allowed to use 3 amiibos, and that's like new packs that you open. They're like gachas and stuff. Yeah. But you don't have to use real money. You could literally just use your amiibos for the gachas every day, and then maybe even have a in-game currency that you could grind out to spend on that as well. And I could see Nintendo doing something at that point where opening those things and getting those randoms are very easy to do without spending any money. And on top of that, your goals are in playing the game is more in line with the way Nintendo wants you to tell a story, as opposed to just having elitists trying to play out the most meta variant of whatever. Yeah. Like, I could see Nintendo doing that. I do not see Nintendo making a Smash card game. Like, that'd be problematic, you know? But, who knows? I don't see Nintendo doing it too much, though.
Yeah, I guess they already got Pokemon, so they don't really have to worry about
they got Pokemon, but the Pokemon card game is, you know, like, They could make money off of that, and they could probably make a Pokemon card game again.
Yeah.
But no, I don't see them doing something unique, new. Even though it would be really cool.
Yeah.
I don't see them doing that.
Okay.
Like, it just seems like something that Nintendo would be like, that's too much work to just simplify to allow a lot of people play. Because they want to make games that a lot of people can read and understand from just watching, going, okay, I actually want to play that, and then play it.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah, no, that's kind of where I go with that. I think a lot of digital card games are always going to be doomed to die. They can always keep updated, but people do love the subset culture of collecting certain cards and certain decks and stuff like that. That digital can't work. And I know
it's the physical stuff that keeps it alive. That's the thing.
And I know some of you are going to say, but NFTs. No. No, we're not doing that, because NFTs are like, you just own the right to that card and have access to that card until the game dies.
Yeah.
Like, you still have the right to that card, period. Like, well, you can trade it until the game dies. So you don't get to keep it. Like, even if Pokemon trading card game stops right now, no more card games will be made. No one does tournaments, no one plays them anymore. You can still collect the very first edition of your cards. To this day, right now. That's the one thing that digital cannot do. And I think that's the reason why trading card games are consistently more alive in the real world than they are in the digital.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you could also just go in the mobile shop. You'll find trillions of trading card games that are just like...
Absolutely. Yeah. And like, not just on mobile, but even on Switch and Steam and all that. Like, you got so many everywhere. Like, it's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, no, that's where I feel like they're always fun to play if they're isolated to itself without having to worry about constantly staying updated.
Yeah.
Other than that, I think there will always be trouble with it.
Yeah.
Like, always, always, always.
Get your friends, go play.
Get outside, guys. Yeah. Get outside, touch some grass, make that grass into a card, play some card games.
Tell us in the comments on your guys' card games. I forgot about Vanguard and...
Oh, there's a bunch.
Vanguard,
there's so many. There's so many. There's even Dragon Ball Z and stuff too. Like, there's so many. We can try to go through it all, but we would be here for another 3 years.
Dragon Ball Z, Final Fantasy, yeah.
But yeah, go ahead, leave it in the comments about your favorite trading card games and stuff like that, memories, digital or otherwise, and memories and stuff. And we'll see you on the other side. Hey everyone, this is Paraka.
And Ghost.
I would like to say thank you for listening to our podcast.
If you like our content, give us a thumbs up. Subscribe and share our video with your friends.
You can also follow and support us on other social media such as Minds and Rumble. Links in the description below.